Hello everybody, welcome to another comic debrief. I'm backseat driver 5280. Just wanted to thank you for stopping by. Feel free to like and subscribe, and if you want to check out more of these, then please find the links in the description below. Without further ado, let's get to it.
So, kicking it off with admin. Published dates were 26 June 2019 through 20 November 2019. For the creators, the writer was David M. Booher, artist was Drew Zucker, colorist was Vittorio Estone, and I could not find an editor. The run length for book 1, which is all that's come out so far, is 6 issues, and the cover price is $3.99. Now to open it up a little bit more with key bits, the only key issue really is going to be number 1, since it's only a 6-issue run right now, and the A cover is currently the most sought after. However, we will get into con exclusives and other variants momentarily. So for cover A, it's the cover done by Drew Zucker. The retailer incentive is a 1 to 10 done by Nick Robles. Then there is a second printing, and there's a third printing. Finally, we have the New York Comic Con exclusive by Chris Abels, and the San Diego Comic Con exclusive by Drew Zucker. For issue number 2, the A cover is again done by Drew Zucker. The 1 to 10 retailer incentive is done by Morgan Beam. And then the second printing is again done by Drew Zucker. For issue number 3, the A cover is again done by Drew Zucker. The 1 to 10 retailer incentive is done by Jorge Corona. And then the second printing is again by Drew Zucker. For issue number 4, cover A is again done by Drew Zucker. And the retailer incentive, being a 1 to 10, is done by Philip Sevi. Issue number 5, cover A, again Drew Zucker. And the 1 to 10 retailer incentive, Ben Bishop. Finally, issue number 6, cover A, is once again Drew Zucker, and then the 1 to 10 retailer incentive was done by Roberta Ingranata and Varina Sahadeva. I apologize if I butchered either of those. Now to go a little deeper by digging in. So in the world of Canto, the people only have one story left. All the others have been taken away, and the story is about a little hero who wants to be a knight. This story is alluded to many times throughout the book, and is essentially used to draw a parallel with our hero, Canto, as he goes along his path. Our hero, it comes from a people that are small creatures who have been enslaved, and their hearts have been removed and replaced with clocks. And they're bidden to have stories, names, and love. But our hero does have a name, and it is Canto. He was given the name by one he loves, and when the slavers find out, they punish her. Her clock is damaged, and Canto offers his own, but he is told that they cannot be swapped. However, the elder tells Canto that if he can find her heart beyond their borders, it can replace her clock. Before he goes, Canto's love wants to hear the story of the knight, and Canto promises he'll tell her again when he returns. We have another aside to the story of the knight paralleling Canto's, and the knight is dreaming of becoming a hero protecting those he cares for. He and Canto both have fears, but they also realize that their fears are only dreams. Canto goes into the forest and encounters a pack of Melorex, which are wild beasts, and he is prepared to fight. However, an elder Melorex steps in, who has determined that Canto's kind are not food. The friendly Melorex comes back in the morning and joins Canto, after getting rid of the younger, more vicious ones. They go to a lake and encounter a monster who is amused by Canto's boldness and says perhaps he will not eat them. Canto tells the monster of his quest and that he must speak to the hermit. Upon hearing this, the monster grabs them, telling them he had not promised not to eat them, he had only said perhaps. Canto and his Malorex at the bottom of a pit, and a hooded figure gets their attention. They are in the belly of the beast. The hooded figure, who turns out to be the hermit, also turns out to be the same species as Canto's slavers. The hermit points out that they don't necessarily fit their labels. He reveals that the monster at the lake is of his own machinations and is to ward off intruders. The hermit tells Canto he does not know where the hearts are taken, but knows where Canto can look. He tells Canto about the shrouded man who has enslaved both of their people. He tells them that neither species always filled their current roles. They both were peaceful. But then the shrouded man brought his army and enslaved the hermit species. They were obstinate, and instead of dealing with them, he enslaved Canto's people and placed the hermit's species as their slave drivers. The hermit tells Canto where he can find the shrouded man who takes their hearts. He tells Canto of how he and a determined few stood against the shrouded man, and that he escaped into exile. He helps train Canto, and then sends the two companions, Canto and his Malorex, on the way to face the shrouded man. Back in the story of the night, when the princess was taken, no one was able to do anything, but the knight knew that if he did not at least try, then no one would be able to save her. Upon reaching a city, Canto and his Malorex run into two guards at the gate. Canto is able to outwit them and help, and with the help of a stranger that has arrived just behind them, they're able to slip through the gate. The stranger tells Canto that his name is special, but won't explain any further. She helps him keep a low profile while getting through the city. She tells him that all creatures of their world are slaves to the shrouded man. Canto presses and asks why his name is special, and she tells him what it means, that the one who bestowed it upon him must have thought very highly of him. The stranger leaves to find something and tells Canto she will return. However, while she is gone, several witches appear to Canto and try to convince him that he is too late and there is nothing he can do. The strange traveler returns and it helps scare off the Furies, as the witches are called, and helps reassure Canto. As she tells him that she has found a way into the Emerald Tower, the Furies again return. Despite being a small tin man, Canto stands strong against the Furies, just as the knight would have stood and fought long ago. Canto fights, the stranger fights, and even the Malorex fights, injuring one of the Furies and distracting the other two long enough for Canto to make it to the Emerald Tower. Upon arrival, he is greeted by the shrouded man, who is further trying to beat him down, just as the knight was beaten down long ago when facing the wizard. Only instead, the shrouded man is attacking Canto's heart and mind. He tells Canto that the tale that he knows of the knight is wrong. The knight has failed, and Canto has failed. Canto had promised his love that he would return. He promised her that they could make up the ending to the story when he did. The shrouded man reveals himself to be the knight in the story. The Canto's people change the story because they prefer hope over truth. He tells Canto that when their hearts are taken, they are thrown into the furnaces. The shrouded man claims to have freed Canto's people and the world from the shackles of hope. Canto looks into the pool of water that is at his feet and sees his love staring back at him. He rises and proclaims that his people do not need to be free to have hope, that the shrouded man's story ended there when he lost hope, but that his own story would continue. The shrouded man attacks Canto, knocking him out of the chamber onto a ledge at the top of the Emerald Tower. And the strange traveler's pet swoops in and gets him away. The stranger rushes him back to Arcana, where his people are, and he wakes, confused at first. The elder tells him that his courage gave his people courage, and they overthrew the slavers and are leaving Arcana to return home, wherever that may be. He also tells Canto that his love ran out of time and was buried in the forest. Canto, brokenhearted, goes to see her resting place. Later, the stranger comes to say goodbye and to tell Canto that the shrouded man will come again and that he must prepare his people. She also tells him her name, Alora, but that it is nothing more than a name. And so the story of the night has a new ending. For despite the knight finding nothing in the tower but a pool of water, his courage gave his people courage. And the simple fact that he made it to the top to see made him their hero. So now we'll get into the grading. And again, the scale is going to be between 2 below and 2 above, with average being called myth. And so if you've seen my other comic debriefs, then you'll probably notice that so far at least I've only been reading books that I've enjoyed and reviewing books that I've enjoyed. And this is no exception. For the story, I am going to give it a 2 above. They took a little bit from Wizard of Oz, if you were paying attention. Honestly, I didn't notice the first time I read it, but then I was told after the fact and noticed little bits and pieces that I could absolutely see that being the case. The way the story was told, I'm definitely giving a 2 above. They used very little, if any, exposition. It was almost entirely written in dialogue. The only, I guess we'll call it exposition still, that I saw was when they were telling the story of the night, but that is not something that could be told with just dialogue, as it was all someone telling someone else anyway. And finally, the art, I'm also going to give a 2 above. It was, I loved it. The images that Zucker gave us in this book did a fantastic job of telling the story, so that again, the writer was able to focus simply on the conversations that were occurring. And then finally, read it again. Yes, I've already read it twice. Buy it again. Yes, absolutely. I have bought multiple copies of issue 1 at this point, and I recently bought a couple of copies of the trade to send off to other people because I enjoyed this story so much. I know other folks out there that seem to agree with me are John's Comics with Kids and Two Brothers Comics. It's phenomenal. So I hope that you will pick up either the trade or go and find the floppies or find it digitally. I highly recommend it. So that's going to finish up this comic debrief. If you enjoyed it, please give the video a thumbs up. If you want to see more of these, then please check out my channel, subscribe. Go check out the playlist that I have started for these debriefs. There's an intro video that kind of explains what exactly I'm hoping to do with these, and I will look forward to seeing you guys in the live chats. I know that right now a lot of people are doing a lot of live streaming, and I hope to join in a few more. But until next time, have a good one.